One hug saved my life. Yesterday I was planning to kill myself. I didn't know how I would do it, but I had 60 strong painkillers, a razor blade and a rope. I'm sure I could manage something. I was crying in class, because as you can guess I wasn't in the best mood, and one of my very close friends came up to me. She asked what was wrong. I told her. She told me I was an amazing person, told me I was more than good enough, and gave me a massive hug. For the first time in my life I felt like someone genuinely cared about me. I broke down and cried for the rest of the day, but that one hug helped me so much. Her telling me I was good enough and the feeling of being hugged made me so much happier. My parents badly emotionally abused me and I've never really had anyone hug me and make me feel cared about. The feeling that someone genuinely cared about me made a massive difference. If she didn't give me that hug or comfort me, I would have went home that night and ended my life. One hug literally saved my life. I'm so fucking thankful that person is in my life. I married an idiot. He refuses to wear face mask. He refuses to wear face mask cause he doesn't like it. When I explain to him that he has to for safety of ours and our children, he refuses and has tantrum like small kid. We live in a country that is one of most hit by COVID in the world. Murder or divorce? It's okay to change your mind. A nice young couple reached out to me. The husband really wanted to have a threesome. So I go over, we have drinks and we get to the task at hand. I'm taking her from behind while she services her husband. I'm getting into it when I looked up and the husband is crying his eyes out. I ask what's wrong and he said he is fine and for me to keep going. I stop and said let's talk about this. He got cold feet, but didn't want to disappoint me. I told him that it's okay to change your mind, and never do anything you're not comfortable with. When I went to confession because I was guilty of masturbation, the priest asked me how I touch myself and who I think of while doing it. Lately my brain has been reminding me of awful things I'd rather forget and this memory just takes the cake. I studied in a Catholic school from grade school until high school, so I grew up thinking that masturbation is bad. When I was 15, I was so guilt-ridden that I went to confession and told the priest that I masturbate. He then asked me how I touch myself, whether I only touch my private part or both my private part and breasts. That was the first time I confessed to someone that I masturbate, so that question even made me more uncomfortable. But he's a priest and he's well loved in our parish, and my dumb self thought that maybe he needs to know how I do it so he could give me the appropriate penance. I answered him that I'd touch both and then he proceeded to ask me who I think of when I'm doing it. At that point I was already extremely uncomfortable, but again, I was dumb and I wanted to be absolved of this sin, so I answered that I was thinking of some actor. He didn't stop there. He asked me to name that person, so I randomly thought of a celebrity just to get it over and done with. Now that I think about it, it's kinda ironic that I was lying during a confession lol. After that confession, I felt relieved that I was finally absolved of my sin, but the discomfort was still there, because I thought that the questions were unnecessary and too personal. Later on, I went to confess to other priests for the same sin, and none of them asked how I do it or who I think of when I do it. I guess it was my fault that I opened up to someone that I trusted. It's been years, but when I remember what happened, I still feel horrible and disgusted by it. I know it wasn't as bad as what other people have experienced, but I felt violated and I'm filled with overwhelming emotions now that I remembered it again. I even feel like I should have told an adult about it, because what if this priest is a creep and would go on to ask the same questions to other girls who were also guilty of masturbation? Maybe this is just my anxiety speaking. If you've read this far, thanks for reading this long-ass ramble. Just needed to let this out. As a non-American, I would love just one day of going on the internet without seeing or reading about Donald Trump. I see Donald Trump's name at least 8 times a day. On BBC News, Reddit and any other app I open. I would love to forget about his existence for just one day. I thought I spent the summer of my life with the guy I loved. Apparently I'm just stupid. It's currently 2:30 a.m. and I can't sleep because I'm crying like the stupid idiot I am. I met him at a local park, the second weekend of summer break. I went out with another friend, just sitting there all masked up at a pool making stupid stuff for TikTok. He approached us, and we spent a nice day together with him. He was a really cool guy, home from college over summer. We met every day from that day on. I kissed him the first time on Monday, and we had sex the Friday after. I felt like I was in love for the first time, and he seemed to be the same. He seemed genuinely interested in me, was great at making conversation, And we had fun outside of that as well. I even made a fucking Instagram post thanking him for the summer of my life, and everything, after we were now dating for about 2 months, on Thursday. Yesterday I brought him to the airport, because he had to go back to his college town to do some stuff there. We hooked up on the fucking parking lot in my car, before he had to go. I went home, crying because I was already missing him.